Hey again guys, it's Jacob, your assistant youth worker here at St Edward's. I hope you are all doing really well. So on Wednesday we continued with our topic of journeys, particularly looking in at change and how change can be uncomfortable and how do we manage that. But we also zoomed in and had a look at how we can be excited for change and how some certain people in the Bible were very excited about change. We looked particularly to Simeon and his excitement for Jesus being born. Now, today, what we're going to look at is how we can join in with the change that God is bringing about in other people's lives, and how that is also something that we can be really, really excited about. Now, when I became a Christian, I had my heart set on this type of ministry called overseas mission. It was my passion. It was what really got me going. And so I followed God's voice all the way up to York, and I started doing like a discipleship training year at St Michael le Belfrey Church in the centre of York Town. And I'm currently in year 2 of this internship. I chose to stay on another year, but particularly last year, I had my heart set on this overseas mission type of lifestyle. Now, because last year in particular, I was so new to this faith, I made the mistake of believing that the best way to do any kind of mission was to move abroad to a country that's poverty stricken, to communities that struggle to get food and water to feed their families and clothing and shelter, etc. And don't get me misunderstood, the charities, the missionaries and the prayer that goes into this work abroad is producing some of the most beautiful work in the world at the moment. It is absolutely unbelievable. And now that we're on this topic, I just want to take this time to plug Charity Water, which is a charity that deals with providing water to these communities, because most of the diseases and most of the deaths actually that come upon a family in a third world country is dirty water related. So if your heart is for this kind of work, Charity Water is a charity that deals with that. Consider them. They're really good, but do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Look them up. But anyway, back to my story. So I thought that this was the best way to do mission. However, it came to my attention quite quickly that over here in the UK, we are very spiritually deprived. We're in a generation where people don't see any kind of need for any sort of spiritual leaders because we have our own stuff to be doing. We've got a million options for things to fill our time with. And so I believe God has called me to be in England to join in with the mission work that he's doing over here. However, let me read some Bible verses to you. Acts 13:47 says, "For this is what the Lord has commanded us. I have made you a light for the Gentiles, that you may bring salvation to the ends of the earth." Romans 10 verses 13 to 14, "For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. How then can they call on the one who they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them?" Mark 16:15, he said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation." And finally, Matthew 24 verse 14, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come." Clearly, overseas missionary work, overseas mission is on God's heart. It is important that we go to these places, to Africa, to India, to Dubai, to Switzerland, to Brazil, to Peru, to absolutely everywhere, and bring the ministry of God to these places. Now we're talking about change, and this is where I'm going to drop off. I'm going to leave a link in the description, in the caption to this video, depending on whether you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, to a YouTube video. It's like a day in the life video of a missionary who does mission in Africa. Now, this might be your first little glimpse of the missionary lifestyle, or you might not be new to mission at all. Watch the video. I think looking forward into future life, this might be a lifestyle that a few of you, maybe none of you, maybe one of you might be interested in, might be pursuing. So I hope that this does help, but know that mission overseas is vitally important for the kingdom of God. Now, just before I drop off and send you off to watch this video, let me just say one more thing. It's like a reminder, actually, because you'll know this. But if you ever consider this sort of lifestyle in the future, know that whatever kind of change happens in your life, however drastic it is, if your lifestyle is completely turned on its head and everything changes for you, know that if you are following God's voice and if God is going with you in this, then he will sustain you. Consider this passage from 1 Kings 17 called Elijah Fed by Ravens. Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah. Leave here, turn eastward, and hide in the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have instructed the ravens to supply you with food there. So he did what the Lord told him. He went to the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan, and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. This is a very particular situation, but an example of where God has called someone to go somewhere and he has sustained them. Now, this is a bit out there. I can't promise that you'll be fed by ravens in the morning and in the evening, but the point is this, is that when you follow God and you're in his sort of plan, in his will for your life, he has got a way to sustain you. So that's it. I'm going to leave now. I'm going to encourage you to go and watch this video because we're talking about change, because we're talking about journeys and the future. This might be something that maybe one or two of you guys might be interested in. So I do hope it helps, but I'm off. So for now, take care, watch the video, and God bless you.